You have selected to play with dead ends enabled. The game will play exactly the same way as the EGA version of King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown. These stone-faced guards... That's strange. You don't get an answer. These stone-faced guards must have been trained not to converse with anybody. They ignore you, Sir Graham. These scaly, slimy serpents cruise the moat searching for unwary trespassers. This is a beautiful little lake. Small bushes thrive by the clear little lake. These rocks must lead to some sort of underground spring. You remind yourself to explore their nooks and crannies sometime when you don't have so much work to do. A small spring bubbles up from the rocks here and splashes. A small spring bubbles up from the rocks here and splashes into the lake. This is a beautiful... This is a... That's strange. You don't remember this rock being here in the EGA version. A majestic... There are many small decorative bushes scattered around Daventry. You check to make sure that the feather is still securely stuck in your... Silly, goats can't talk. The goat is wandering this way and that, exploring his little pen. Oh no, the goat has escaped through the gate you left open. He could have wandered anywhere by now. This weathered old bucket has served the kingdom for years and years. It still holds water as well as it did on the day it was made. There's not much to... After you are in the old bucket, your weight causes it to slowly descend. That's strange. The well water is cold and clear. The well water. You are too far away. This isn't the chest you are carrying. You check to make sure that the feather is... The mirror shimmers with its own magical light. You'll have to do something about... You are carrying nothing. You leap out of the water and climb into the bucket. The cold, damp stones are... This is one of the countless rocks and boulders that dot the... Without warning, a wolf darts out of the bushes and runs straight for you. Look! The water of this crystal clear lake is especially cold and crisp. The leprechauns use it to brew their dandelion wine. The only response you get is the echo of your pounding. A huge wooden door has been built into the base of a steep mountain. You notice a large keyhole in the door. The huge door is locked. You can't open it. This is a miniature shade tree, which gives shade to the A patch of pretty flowers has been... There's not much to... These trees contain no secrets. There's not much You don't see any clover. You don't. You don't. You pick a large four-leaf clover from the patch. Lovely fruit trees have blossomed early this year. There's no ripe fruit on the tree to pick. There's no ripe.
Gentle Sir Graham, I am your fairy godmother. Your quest is indeed noble. What little aid I can offer you is this protective magic spell, effective for but a short while. I shall be watching over you, Sir Graham.
The fairy godmother. Nothing. This is the biggest oak tree you've ever seen. Its trunk seems to be about 10 feet around, and the thick, sturdy branches look like they could hold many times your weight. Finding plenty of footholds in the coarse bark of the tree, you easily clamber up the trunk to the branches above. You can't reach the... You're too far away from the nest to see it clearly. This rock is less distinctive than the one next. You see a large... With a small shove, you manage to push the rock a few feet, revealing a shallow hole underneath. You reach into the hole and find an intricately carved dagger. You carefully lift it out, being careful not to cut yourself. You see You see lush plants and bushes throughout the kingdom of. The bush has done a fine job of surviving by itself so far. Far be it from you to intervene. There are numerous beautiful.
Ye best be careful, young Graham. The mystic protective spell of mine has weakened and departed.
There are numerous small rocks and boulders in this. The trees here are stunted and twisted. They give you the heebie-jeebies. There are numerous small rocks and. The rock will not budge. The rock will. This is a wild and perilous, raging river filled with jagged boulders and treacherous rapids. This is a wild and perilous, raging river filled with jagged boulders and Far in the distance, you can see the spires and turrets of King Edward's castle. There is a mushroom in the meadow on the other side of the raging. There is a moldering old stump here, rotting to pieces. The stump will not move. The squirrel seems hesitant about climbing its favorite walnut tree with you standing around. You choose a big, meaty-looking walnut from the bunch scattered around. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. The water of this crystal-clear lake is especially cold and crisp. The leprechauns use it to brew their dandelion wine. The water is too shallow here for you to dive into. The water. There is a small dwarf right nearby. Be careful, this sly little chap is trouble. This is not a good. This is the most marvelous house you've ever seen. It seems like it's made of a huge gingerbread cupcake with frosting for a roof. The chimney is made of gummy bricks. The door is made of chocolate. The fence is made of candy canes. And sourball stones and gumdrops are scattered around the yard. There's not much to do. You don't know how long they've been standing there. Eating them probably wouldn't be a wise thing to do. There is no answer from inside the house. As the green liquid is terribly goopy, the fire must have been burning underneath it for quite some time. Sitting on the shelf is a delicious piece of Swiss cheese. You take the cheese from the cabinet. Off in the distance, you hear a high, squeaky voice.
I can smell someone tasty in my house. Oh, how nice of you to come for dinner.
The witch looks you over carefully.
You're a little too scrawny for my appetite, but I think you're going to make a lovely dessert.
The witch has turned you into a gingerbread man. Or is that a graham cracker? You have selected to play with dead ends enabled. The game will play exactly the same way as the EGA version of King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown. The castle walls are carpeted with a thick tangle of. These stone-faced guards must have been trained not to converse with anybody. They ignore you, Sir Graham. You reconsider the wisdom of returning to King Edward without having recovered Daventry's 3 lost treasures. You have selected to play with dead ends enabled. The With a small shove, you manage to push the rock a few feet, revealing a shallow hole underneath. You reach into the hole and find an intricately carved dagger. You carefully lift it out, being careful not to cut yourself. A small thicket of unimpressive white birch trees grows here. A huge wooden door has been built into the base of a steep mountain. You notice a large keyhole in the door. The huge door is locked. You can't open it. If you remove this tree, you'll be depriving the woodland animals of much needed shade. You choose a big, meaty-looking walnut from the bunch scattered around. If you've seen one bush, there appears to be some sort of bowl sitting next to the tree. You pick up the bowl. The river is dangerous and powerful. This is one of the Bushes and rocks seem to complement each other, don't they? The bush is rooted. A rough-hewn plank bridge spans the deep rushing river here. As you start to cross the bridge, a huge, hulking troll stomps into view and blocks your way. This is the ugliest, meanest, nastiest troll you have ever seen, and he's not about to let anybody cross his bridge.
Well, what have we got here? You think you're gonna cross my bridge, do ya? Not for free, you ain't.
The troll isn't interested in a plain walnut. The raging current pulls you under, never to be found.